Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, Consolidated Edison Inc. has filed an 8K confirming a massive $2 billion at the market equity program, and I am seeing a clear signal for investors. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing means Con Edison is preparing to sell a huge chunk of its stock, and understanding how this works is key to knowing what it might mean for you. So, what exactly is going on here? Consolidated Edison Incorporated, known to many as Con Edison or ED, has just announced this big plan to sell up to $2 billion worth of its common shares. They signed an agreement on May 8th of 2026, and the main idea is to sell these shares over time when the market is good for them. Think of it like a company deciding to sell stocks piece by piece rather than all at once. This agreement, called an equity distribution agreement, basically sets up a system. Con Edison works with a bunch of financial institutions acting as sales agents. These agents will help Con Edison sell its shares to the public. It is a way for them to raise money without having to do a huge sudden sell that could scare the market. The term "at the market" is super important here. It means they can sell shares whenever they think the price is right or when they need the cash. This is different from a company that decides to raise money all at once in a big offering, which can sometimes signal trouble or flood the market with shares. The company is authorized to sell up to $2 billion worth of its common shares. These are the regular shares that you and I can buy on the stock market. Now, this $2 billion program isn't just about selling shares directly off the bat. Con Edison can also enter into separate agreements called forward sale agreements. This is where it gets a little more complex. In these deals, an investment bank, acting as a forward purchaser, agrees to buy shares from Con Edison at a later date. Here is how the forward sale part often works. The forward purchaser might borrow the shares from somewhere else, and then sell them immediately in the market. This gives Con Edison cash now, but they have to deliver the actual shares later. If the share price goes up between now and then, Con Edison might actually end up paying more for those shares, or they might have to deliver more shares than they initially planned. This sentence is critical because it tells us that when these borrowed shares are sold by the forward seller, Con Edison doesn't get any money right away. They get the money when the forward sale is actually settled later on. This can create a bit of a buffer, but it also means the company is counting on future cash flow from these deals. How will they actually sell these shares? They can do it in a few ways. They can sell them in regular trades on the stock market at the current prices. They can also do this through brokers or even on different exchanges or electronic networks. This flexibility allows them to adapt to market conditions. And of course, there are costs involved. Con Edison will pay a commission to the sales agents, and this commission is capped at 1% of the money they make from selling the shares through them. They also have to pay other fees and any costs associated with the sales. This means the net amount of money Con Edison actually gets will be less than the total sales price. This agreement is the foundation for their plan to sell shares over time. It allows them to tap the market for capital as needed. This is the document that outlines the terms for those more complex forward sale deals. It describes how future transactions will be structured. In the context of Con Edison, a regulated utility company with a market cap of around $39.5 billion, a $2 billion equity offering tells us a few things. Utility companies often need significant capital for infrastructure upgrades and expansion. They might be looking to fund new projects, pay down debt, or simply bolster their cash reserves. This offering provides them with a flexible way to do just that, looking at the broader market sentiment for Con Edison around May 2026. Headlines mention they just reported their first quarter earnings. Some reports indicate that first quarter earnings missed estimates, even though revenues rose year over year. This kind of mixed financial picture can sometimes prompt companies to start thinking about raising capital through equity offerings to fortify their financial position. Considering historical trends, companies like Con Edison, while generally stable, can experience periods where they need to raise capital. This at-the-market program suggests they are being proactive, rather than reactive, in their approach to financial management. It is a common tool for large companies to manage their capital structure efficiently. So, what is the takeaway? Con Edison is arming itself with a significant war chest of up to $2 billion. This is a strategic move to ensure they have the financial flexibility to pursue their goals, whether that is investing in infrastructure, managing debt, or responding to market opportunities. The market structure means they can do this without causing major disruption to the stock price, which is a smart approach. My biggest concern with this kind of offering is always dilution. When a company sells more shares, each existing share represents a smaller piece of the company, which can drive down the stock price if demand doesn't keep pace. However, for a company like Con Edison, which is a stable dividend payer and a critical service provider. This offering is likely more about strategic capital raising than a sign of immediate distress. What I am actually looking for is how they deploy this capital. If it leads to well-executed projects that boost future earnings and dividends, then this offering will prove to be a wise move. The research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. You can also join the community by checking out the Discord link in the description.